What's up, guys? Welcome back to Nerd Media. And Creature Commandos released its penultimate episode, leading into the finale next week. And there was a lot to happen in this episode. As you can tell by the title of this video, Batman appeared. I mean, kind of, sort of, not really. He was more of a shadowy figure, but I figured that's worthy enough of a video idea because I want to talk about Batman. I want to talk about this episode because this episode was also really awesome and I really love the story points. And I want to talk about what I would like to see for Batman in the DCU and what I think we're most likely getting, especially with some of the things that came out today that James Gunn's been saying about Batman, because now all the stuff that he's been saying is being released online. So, without further ado, let's get into the review. So in this episode, we finally get the origins of Dr. Phosphorus, and he's been one of my favorite characters of this series, so the whole origin thing for him was one of my most anticipated of this series. Once we kind of got used to the format of it being an origin every episode for a specific character, and I know we got Weasel's backstory, which is very very sad, but I think that this one is probably the saddest with Dr. Phosphorus when he's just a doctor or a scientist, kind of both, trying to make this crazy cure that could cure cancer and it goes wrong. He gets kind of framed for his family's death or his wife's death at least. And then he gets put into the machine that's supposed to help cure cancer, but instead it turns him into this. I think that was very tragic. I was kind of shocked at how tragic and just depressing that really was. And I'm not gonna lie, this may be my favorite episode of the series just because of that and that one key story point. And I just really loved it. I mean, obviously, what happens in the origin isn't that like I loved it, but I really did like how it was done. I loved everything about this episode, and this episode is really just another confirmation that this series is doing really well. I mean, yes, Creature Commandos is kind of typical James Gunn format, but I think that it's really good, and it's technically the start of the DCU, as we all already know, so it's obviously great for that, because he's already doing some very fascinating and very great world building with this series alone, and I can't wait to see that get extended more into Superman. But getting back to the episode, obviously Dr. Phosphorus origins very sad. He's a very cool character and I love to kind of see him go on that like revenge arc too and how he actually takes over the gang that he was, a part of sort of and I think that was just really cool to see and it really what James Gunn is doing with these origins, he's really making it easy for us to sympathize with the Creature Commandos because in the beginning of the series, they're just known as monsters who did horrible things. But then we get a backstory like for Weasel, and you're like, well, he really wasn't the bad guy. And then it's the same thing for Dr. Phosphorus. We get an origin for him, and he's not really the bad guy. Obviously, there are some where, they're kind of played out as the exact character that they are, like for Frankenstein's origin. It kind of doesn't really change what we think of that character, but, with origins like this, it really just helps build a character, and I think that James Gunn is really great at doing that with everything that he's done. And I think it's a really cool way to do that with this show is giving one character a specific origin for each episode. And yeah, overall, this episode is no different to how I feel about the show in general. I really liked it, and I'm honestly shocked that the finale is next week. But let's get into the big stuff that I know you guys are here for. Batman showed up. Now, this right here is the image of Batman. It's the only thing we've gotten for Batman in the DCU so far, obviously. I mean, we're not going to be probably getting any more Batman for the next few years, and this is probably the only snippet we're going to have until then. But, I mean, I've seen people online pointing out the fact that it looks like he has trunks, it looks like the cape's blue, and just stuff like that. And I think that that's kind of silly because we can't really tell exactly what his suit even looks like. The only thing you can tell is that if you look really closely, he has white eyes, which I think we won if that's the case, and he has white eyes in the actual film in live action. We won because it's already been proven that white eyes on superhero masks can work with Wolverine and Deadpool and Wolverine. But I just think that this is really cool that we finally got this like small little snippet of Batman, especially with some of the recent news that, the Batman movie and the DCU has been delayed. Same thing with Matt Reeves' Batman. And, having Batman come up and show up in Gotham, I mean, it really just it makes me think about like what I want Batman to be like in the DCU. And I don't want it to be Robert Pattinson. I think he should be his own separate thing. But, you know, it got me thinking, what do I want Batman to be like in the DCU? Well, let me tell you. Now, as you guys can see from the image on this side, I'm one of the people that really wants to see that gray and blue suit. I really want to see him have that blue cowl with the blue cape, and have that gray suit with the black emblem and the white and the yellow belt. Everything. I think that with the universe that James Gunn is building, with the fantastical element being everywhere in this DC universe, which I think is awesome, I think that we need a suit like this, and I think there's a very if the people are correct that there is trunks on him and his cape's long, and for some reason they can see the cape is blue in that image, it looks like we're probably going to be getting this version, and I hope we do because we already have like that all black kind of dark gritty Batman suit with Robert Pattinson. So I think it would be good to kind of have that divide, and it would be a good way to divide the two Batman for general audiences. Seeing that there's two different Batman, they're clearly different. One's blue, and then the other one has the classic like black look, and this is how I want him to be because this is supposed to be a Batman that's in a fantastical universe, obviously, because he met Dr. Frostras. So, you know, I think that it's really awesome that we finally got him. There's going to be more stuff to come for Batman in the future. I'm assuming that we're probably going to get the Batman Part 2 before we get our Batman film in the DCU, but I wouldn't be surprised if we don't. Or I'm hoping that maybe this year we can also get a casting announcement for who Batman's going to be. That may be reaching too far, but I don't know. Did you guys like the Creature Commandos episode? Let me know in the comments below. And make sure to hit that subscribe and notification bell because this year I'm trying to really reach some really high numbers for subscribers. 5K is my goal for right now, and it would mean a lot if you guys could hit the subscribe button. But yeah, stay tuned for more DC content and subscribe for more. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.